Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the surprisingly complex universe of a 90s cartoon with an incredibly, weird origin story. Let's just jump right into it.
So why does a cartoon based on an NHL team mascot even exist? I mean, seriously, we've had cartoons based on toys, movies, literally raisins. But the mascot of a professional sports team? That was entirely new territory. We're going to look at how a live-action family movie somehow spawned an intergalactic superhero hockey show.
Which brings us to our first section, a bizarre corporate cash grab, the ultimate 90s synergy. To really understand this show, you have to look at the unprecedented timeline of corporate cross-pollination that birthed it. Notice how rapidly this whole franchise evolved. We go from Emilio Estevez coaching a group of misfit kids in the 1992 live-action movie to Disney actually buying a literal, real-life NHL hockey team in 1993. Then, as a massive marketing effort to attract younger fans to that new hockey franchise, boom, we get this animated sci-fi series in 1996, perfectly designed to sell toys and tickets. It is the ultimate 90s corporate synergy in action.
Section 2. Puck World to Anaheim, California. An out-of-left-field premise.
And let me tell you, it was an incredibly wild pivot. Think about the live-action movie. It was a grounded sports comedy about a reluctant lawyer doing court-ordered community service. But the animated series? Instead of a sports comedy, we got anthropomorphic alien ducks fleeing a planetary invasion by reptilian warlords, known as the Saurians, to play professional hockey and moonlight as superheroes in Southern California. Actually, just say that out loud for a second. Alien ducks fighting reptilian warlords. It was a massive departure from the grounded reality of the movies.
So where exactly do these feathered heroes come from? Well, the lore kicks off on Puck World. It's an icy planet in another universe, populated entirely by humanoid ducks. And here's the kicker. Ice hockey occupies virtually every aspect of their day-to-day existence, from fashion to philosophy. The planet's history centers around a hero named Drake Duquesne, who famously saved Puck World centuries prior. He used a high-tech goalie mask to defeat those evil Saurian overlords I mentioned earlier.
Now naturally, a cartoon built around a hockey franchise came loaded with highly marketable hockey-themed weaponry and vehicles. The arsenal was completely absurd but amazing. You've got puck blasters that literally shoot explosive hockey pucks, an intergalactic airship called the Arrowwing, tactical motorcycles called Duck Cycles. There was even Duke's golden duck saber and Tanya's mechanical Omni tool. It was a gold mine for action figure accessories, sure, but you have to respect their absolute, unironic commitment to the hockey aesthetic.
Moving on to Section 3. An unbelievable voice cast, bringing the Ducks to life.
Here's the thing. Despite sounding like a totally cynical Saturday morning cash grab, the production managed to enlist a phenomenal roster of talent. Just look at this heavyweight lineup. They brought in industry greats like Brad Garrett and Tony Jay. They snagged TV stars like Ian Ziering to voice the leader, Wild Wing, and Dennis Franz playing a hard-nosed cop. Oh, and they got the legendary Tim Curry as the main villain, Lord Dragonus. Casting actors of this caliber gave the characters an unexpected layer of gravitas that a show like this absolutely had no right to have.
And what this stellar cast helped achieve is something quite rare for the genre. They actually portrayed a solidly organized, cohesive unit. Rather than leaning on the tired cliché of radically different teammates constantly butting heads for cheap drama, these ducks were remarkably competent. They supported each other. They actively worked through problems together, both on and off the ice.
And that brings us right into Section 4, emotional arcs and dark themes, the surprising depth.
Believe it or not, the show's writing was willing to go to some genuinely bleak and dramatic places. Let's look at a pivotal sequence from early on. The Ducks are escaping through a portal, right? The villain, Dragunus, releases an electromagnetic worm to destroy their ship. In a shocking subversion of standard cartoon tropes, the team's original leader, Captain Canard, literally sacrifices his own life. He throws himself right at the worm so his crew can escape. For a 90s kids cartoon, having the good guys lose their beloved captain right off the bat was incredibly heavy stuff.
That tragic sacrifice leaves Canard trapped in what's known as dimensional limbo, a mysterious, inescapable zone for anyone unfortunate enough to get stuck in it. Before vanishing, he passes the legendary goalie mask and the leadership of the team to his best friend, Wild Wing. So instead of a fearless, flawless leader, we get Wild Wing spending the rest of the series battling severe imposter syndrome, grief, and the heavy burden of command. It's a surprisingly emotional journey woven right into all that high-flying action. Now don't get me wrong, the trauma is expertly balanced with sharp, self-aware humor.
There's this great quote from Wild Wing's younger brother, Nosedive, where alien ducks, how nonconformist can you get? The show heavily utilizes these witty one-liners and fourth-wall breaks from Nosedive. He acts as the team's resident jokester, which perfectly keeps the tone from getting too depressing and keeps us thoroughly entertained.
They didn't just add depth to the main team either. They even subverted their villains and action sequences. Take the redemption of Stanley Straczynski. He was a violent hockey goon, mutated into a monster by Dragonis. Instead of just pummeling him into submission, the team's gentle giant, Grin, uses Zen philosophy to help Stanley find moral clarity. It actually leads to the villain quitting as a player and returning as an honorable, strict hockey referee to enforce the rules he once broke. It's a wonderfully bizarre, heartwarming end to what could have just been a standard Monster of the Week fight.
Let's move to our final section. Section 5, a cult animation time capsule, bridging two eras of cartoons.
Despite the rich world building, the heavy promotion, and the actual NHL tie-ins, the show only lasted for a relatively brief 26 episodes before ending in early 1997. It was a massive swing, but a surprisingly short-lived one. Yet today, it stands out as the perfect evolutionary bridge in superhero animation. On one side, you have the lighthearted action, toy-driven motives, and fourth-wall breaks of 1980s shows like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. On the other, you have the heavier, deep character analysis and emotional arcs of shows from the 2000s like Teen Titans. The Mighty Ducks series perfectly connects the two. It's a genuine time capsule of how 90s cartoons were maturing and finding deeper voices.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. Does the ultimate 90s marketing gimmick deserve to be remembered as a masterpiece of superhero animation? It leaves us wondering if this incredibly bizarre, hockey-themed corporate synergy was exactly the weird recipe needed to create a genuinely beloved cult classic that still holds up today. What do you think? Did a cynical cash grab accidentally create animated gold? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep your curiosity sharp.